If you grew up in America during the 1990s, there was one car you never wanted to see in your rearview mirror. Long before high-tech police SUVs, LED light bars, and turbocharged pursuit vehicles, one full-size Chevrolet quietly earned a reputation that spread across every highway in the country. It wasn't covered in aggressive styling. It didn't have exotic performance credentials. To most people, it looked like an ordinary family sedan. But hidden beneath its conservative appearance was one of the toughest police vehicles ever built. Chances are you've seen it in countless Hollywood movies, television shows, or real-life police chase footage without even realizing what it was. This is the Chevrolet Caprice 9C1. A car that became far more than just transportation for law enforcement. It became a trusted partner for thousands of police officers whose lives often depended on the vehicle beneath them. Personally, I think that's what makes the Caprice 9C1 so fascinating today. It never became legendary because Chevrolet told people it was. It became legendary because the officers who drove it every day earned that reputation for it. To understand why the Caprice 9C1 became such an icon, we first have to go back to a time when American police departments faced a completely different challenge. During the late 1980s and early 1990s, law enforcement agencies across the United States needed vehicles that could survive relentless punishment. Patrol cars rarely lived easy lives. They spent hours idling at traffic stops, accelerated hard during emergency responses, climbed curbs, crossed rough roads, carried hundreds of pounds of equipment, and often remained in service around the clock with multiple officers driving the same vehicle every day. Ordinary civilian sedans simply weren't designed for that kind of abuse. Chevrolet already offered the Caprice as a comfortable full-size sedan, but engineers realized its strong B-body platform had enormous potential. Built with traditional body-on-frame construction, the Caprice provided the durability, simplicity, and serviceability that police departments valued above almost everything else. Unlike many modern unibody vehicles, the separate frame allowed the car to absorb years of punishment while remaining relatively straightforward to repair after minor collisions. Chevrolet then developed something specifically for law enforcement, the 9C1 police package. This wasn't simply a Caprice with police decals and flashing lights. It was a purpose-built patrol vehicle engineered from the factory to survive conditions that would quickly destroy most passenger cars. Heavy-duty suspension components improved stability under constant stress. Larger cooling systems helped the engine and transmission survive endless hours of idling before immediately transitioning into high-speed pursuits. Upgraded brakes handled repeated emergency stops without fading as quickly. Higher output alternators supplied enough electrical power for radios, emergency lighting, sirens, and additional equipment. Reinforced seats, certified speedometers, calibrated instrumentation, and countless small engineering improvements transformed the ordinary Caprice into one of the most capable police vehicles America had ever seen. Then, in 1994, Chevrolet introduced the upgrade that would forever define the final generation of the Caprice 9C1. Under the hood arrived the legendary LT1 5.7-liter V8, closely related to the engine already making headlines in the Chevrolet Corvette. Although the police version received its own calibration designed for durability rather than maximum output, it still delivered around 260 horsepower and an enormous amount of low-end torque. Suddenly, the Caprice wasn't just durable, it was genuinely quick for such a large sedan. More importantly, it delivered smooth, effortless acceleration exactly where police officers needed it most. Whether merging onto highways, overtaking traffic, or responding to emergencies, the LT1 provided immediate confidence without forcing the engine to work excessively hard. Personally, I think Chevrolet made exactly the right decision by choosing the LT1. The Caprice 9C1 never needed to be the fastest police car in America. It needed to be predictable, dependable, and powerful enough to perform every task asked of it, day after day, year after year. And that's precisely what the LT1 delivered. Combined with the proven B-body chassis, rear-wheel drive layout, and exceptionally durable drivetrain, Chevrolet had quietly created something very special. Officers soon discovered that the Caprice 9C1 could endure an extraordinary amount of punishment while continuing to perform with remarkable consistency. It wasn't unusual for these cars to accumulate hundreds of thousands of miles in police service before retirement, and many departments found themselves replacing worn-out equipment long before the vehicles themselves reached the end of their mechanical lives. Before long, word spread rapidly through law enforcement communities across America. The Chevrolet Caprice 9C1 wasn't simply another patrol car. It had become one of the most respected tools an officer could have on duty. And as its reputation continued to grow, it would soon find itself competing against another legendary American police car that would eventually become just as famous, the Ford Crown Victoria Police Interceptor. By the mid-1990s, the Chevrolet Caprice 9C1 had become one of the most respected police vehicles in the United States. Large departments, state highway patrol agencies, sheriff's offices, and numerous federal organizations relied on it every single day. It wasn't because Chevrolet offered the lowest price or the flashiest advertising. It was because the Caprice consistently proved itself where it mattered most, on the road. Officers quickly learned that the car felt remarkably stable at highway speeds, something that became especially important during long-distance patrols and emergency responses. The long wheelbase, rear-wheel drive layout, and body-on-frame construction gave the Caprice a planted, confident feel that inspired trust behind the wheel. While no police pursuit is ever predictable, knowing exactly how your vehicle would react under pressure made an enormous difference. One of the Caprice's greatest strengths was balance. It wasn't the lightest patrol car, nor was it always the fastest in every situation, but it combined strong acceleration, comfortable highway manners, excellent durability, and surprisingly capable handling into one complete package. Personally, I think that's exactly why so many officers still remember the Caprice so fondly. It wasn't built to dominate a specification sheet, it was built to perform consistently every single shift, regardless of the conditions. The LT1 V8 became a major part of that reputation. Its broad torque curve allowed the Caprice to accelerate smoothly without constantly searching for power at high engine speeds. Whether merging onto an interstate, overtaking traffic, or responding to an emergency call, the engine delivered effortless performance that suited the car's mission perfectly. Mechanics appreciated it for another reason. The engine bay offered generous space, making routine maintenance significantly easier than on many modern vehicles. Combined with the simple body-on-frame design, departments often found the Caprice less expensive to repair after minor accidents compared to many unibody competitors. Durability wasn't just a marketing claim, it became one of the car's defining characteristics. Many retired patrol cars remained mechanically healthy long after their police careers had ended, eventually finding second lives as civilian daily drivers, taxi vehicles, security cars, and enthusiast projects. It wasn't uncommon to find former Caprice 9C1s with well over 250,000 or even 300,000 miles still running reliably with proper maintenance. Of course, Chevrolet wasn't alone in the pursuit vehicle market. Its biggest rival was the Ford Crown Victoria Police Interceptor, a car that would eventually become almost synonymous with American law enforcement. The two vehicles shared many similarities. Both used traditional body-on-frame construction, rear-wheel drive, naturally aspirated V8 engines, and were designed specifically to survive years of relentless police service. Yet they had distinctly different personalities. The Crown Victoria was known for its incredible simplicity, predictable handling, and exceptional durability, while the Caprice often impressed departments with stronger acceleration, especially after the arrival of the LT1 engine in 1994. Depending on department priorities, some agencies preferred Ford, while others remained loyal to Chevrolet. There was never a universally perfect choice, but together these two cars defined American policing throughout the 1990s. Beyond police work, the Caprice 9C1 also became a familiar face in popular culture. It appeared in countless action films, television series, and crime dramas, often serving as the unmistakable patrol car racing through city streets with lights flashing and sirens echoing between buildings. For audiences around the world, the Caprice became part of the visual identity of American law enforcement. Even people who had never driven one could instantly recognize its distinctive shape. In many ways, Hollywood helped turn an already respected police vehicle into a global automotive icon. But like many legends, the Caprice's story eventually came to an end. In 1996, General Motors discontinued the B-body platform entirely, bringing production of the Chevrolet Caprice to a close. For many police departments, that decision created a difficult choice. Without a direct replacement from Chevrolet, agencies gradually transitioned toward the Ford Crown Victoria Police Interceptor, which soon became the dominant patrol vehicle across the United States. Looking back today, it's easy to wonder what might have happened if Chevrolet had continued developing the Caprice instead of ending production. Personally, I think the rivalry between the Caprice and the Crown Victoria pushed both manufacturers to build better police cars. Competition encouraged innovation, durability, and constant improvement, ultimately benefiting the officers who depended on these vehicles every single day. Decades later, the Chevrolet Caprice 9C1 remains highly respected among collectors, retired officers, and automotive enthusiasts alike. Not because it was perfect, but because it represented an era when police vehicles were engineered with one clear objective above all else: to work relentlessly, survive extraordinary punishment, and earn the trust of the people whose lives depended on them. And in my opinion, that's exactly why the Caprice 9C1 deserves to be remembered as one of the greatest American police cars ever built. The Chevrolet Caprice 9C1 was never designed to become a collector's item or a piece of automotive nostalgia. It was built with a clear purpose, to serve the people behind the badge and to keep working no matter how demanding the job became. It wasn't flashy, it wasn't filled with luxury, and it certainly wasn't trying to be a sports car. Yet through years of patrols, highway pursuits, long nights, and millions of miles, it earned something far more valuable than awards or sales records. It earned respect. Personally, I think that's what truly defines a legendary automobile. The Caprice 9C1 didn't become famous because Chevrolet claimed it was the best. It became legendary because thousands of police officers trusted it every single day, mechanics respected how dependable it was, and enthusiasts continue to admire what it represented. It was one of the last great American body-on-frame police sedans, powered by a naturally aspirated V8, engineered with simplicity, durability, and purpose above everything else. Today, police vehicles are faster, safer, and packed with technology, but many retired officers will tell you there's still something special about the old Caprice. It had character. It had presence. And perhaps most importantly, it had a reputation that couldn't be bought, it had to be earned. Looking back, the Chevrolet Caprice 9C1 wasn't just another patrol car. It became part of American history, a symbol of law enforcement throughout the 1990s, and one of the most respected police vehicles ever to wear a Chevrolet badge. If you enjoyed this documentary, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more in-depth stories about legendary cars that changed automotive history. Your support helps the channel continue bringing these forgotten legends back to life. And now I'd love to hear your opinion. If you were building the ultimate American police fleet, which would you choose, the Chevrolet Caprice 9C1 or the Ford Crown Victoria Police Interceptor? Let me know your choice and your reasons down in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next documentary.